No need for that, but all right.
Okay, that's fine. So you're going to be defending the proposition that God does not exist, correct?
Yeah. So like, do you like give an
What's the
argument?
argument?
What do you like give an argument for like God was existing? I'm pretty sure I was like asking first.
I'm just waiting for the argument for God does not exist.
What'd you say? I couldn't hear you because I was screaming
I'm
in my
waiting for the
background.
argument for why God does not exist.
Yeah, I kind of asked you, could you give your argument first?
No, I didn't.
Yes, I did. It's just you were
So what's the
speaking.
argument?
I
I
was
ask
asking.
you, are going to be defend. I ask you, are going to be defending the proposition that God does not exist, and you said, yeah. Then ask for the argument
Yeah,
right
you're
away.
the one. Yeah, you're the one with the affirmative on God does exist. I'm asking you for an argument for why he does
Both of
exist.
them are from the propositions, retard.
Yeah, they are a form of a proposition, but they
Okay, so
both
if
have
I'm asking you for an argument for the proposition, I expect you to give an argument and not try to
a.
ask me questions to zero from you
Apollo,
giving an actual argument for your
Apollo,
proposition.
Apollo. They both have a positive, negative stance and like burdens upon
Okay,
I.
so that's irrelevant to me asking you for an argument. You've not given this part of the
How
conversation.
is that irrelevant? I'm just claiming your
Because
verdict.
you establishing that they both have positives and negatives does not actually prove your claim, which is that God does not exist.
Yeah, I no. I said they both have
If you
positive,
only
negative.
concede that claim and then get onto my
Oh,
argument, that's fine.
hold on, bro. I said they both have positive burdens within the
Okay, that's
stance.
irrelevant to whether or not you have an argument to present the argument.
I just claimed your burden shifting about that. That's about it.
That's not burden shifting if someone asks you for your claim and you're not presenting the proof of the claim.
Hold on. I asked you for an argumentation for why God does exist, and you're the one who's taking the
After I
affirmative.
asked
I'm the
for the
same prop.
demonstration why God does not
Hold on,
exist, after I established
hold
that you defended that proposition, yeah, definitely.
hold on. Wait, what'd you say?
So
Sorry.
so if you only concede this claim and then get onto my argument, it's fine.
Okay, hold on. I asked you what you were saying for reclarification.
I'm saying that what happened in this conversation was I asked you specifically, are you defended the proposition that God does not exist? Your response was yes. Then I said, okay, what's the argument? Then you asked me right after asking for the argument to give me the argument or give you the argument for why God does in fact exist. So if anything, I
Yes.
ask you specifically for the argument first after you've established outrightly that it is the case that you'll be defended the proposition that God does not exist. So you would be the
Yes.
person for the trip, not
Hold on.
me.
When discussing the proposition, it would be unilateral in the terms of the context of the debate in itself. The debate does not like
You're
have like
blabbering.
first. Okay, hold on. So instead of claiming I'm blabbering, could you go ahead and justify that point, or is that just like some sort of rhetorical jab?
You're blabbering.
Yeah, I asked you, could you give some form of coherence or just some form of underlying
Because it's
proposition?
relevant to the
No,
conversation. That's the justification.
you
If
said it's
something
a.
is relevant to the conversation and it's just a whole bunch of talking, then it's blabbering. There you go.
If this is just going to be the discussion, then I guess we could just save the recording because like, there's no
I
point in
mean, I
what you
can
said.
just concede the claim that God does not exist, and then afterwards I can just give the argument why God does in fact exist. But until then I'm just going to just take it that I just want to deflect and dodge and prevaricate and debate from the actual substance of the
Yeah,
conversation.
you realize I also gave some form of counter argument towards you, claim that's not burden shifting, then X, Y,
Yeah,
Z.
the retard is just not tracking the conversation, right? So maybe I have to just go slowly. So I'm telling you that in the case of the conversation, right, if you want to drop the proposition that God does not exist and just take a skeptical position, that's fine. But I am willing to prove the claim that God exists, so long as you can see the proposition that God does not in fact exist. Once you drop that claim, then I'll just prove the claim that God does in fact exist.
So wait. This shit.
So are you going to concede the proposition or no?
So for I'm sorry, I have it screaming in my background. Because my mic is solid. But um, more clearly, you were saying you're defending the proposition God does exist, right? Because like obviously, I told you I was going to devil's advocate for me defending the atheistic position at the start of the
Yeah,
conversation,
and then I
right?
ask you right away for the argument, and then you dodge by asking me for the argument. He's basically deflecting the
No.
actual burden you currently have.
So going back into the conversation, no, that's not what happened. So like
You're not
basically,
staying on track.
I
You're just going to lie about what happened because you
hold
don't
on,
want to give an
hold
actual
on.
argument.
Instead of bringing it up or just claiming I'm not tracking, let me like go ahead and continue with what I'm trying to say. So what
I
I
mean,
was
if what you're
saying,
going to try to say is just a whole bunch of lies, then they're really
you
here to entertain that bullshit.
had a bunch of, I'm not gonna engage on a meta perspective on that point you're trying to claim, but I will continue with the point I'm trying to make. So the point I'm basically just trying to make is that
Keep on
when
blabbering,
you're
that's fine.
you're defending the position that God does exist, right? I'm the one who is taking the atheistic position, right? And I said proposition is unilateral in terms of the context of the debate, of course. So we're discussing about the proposition, right? You're the one who's taking the affirmative.
Blabbering.
You towards the
Still
positive.
blabbering.
Of course, it's on you, right? You said, well,
Blabbering.
okay, so like, is there any type of refutation towards what I just said?
I'm just gonna ask you, why is the burden on me if I ask you first to give an argument?
Kind of fulfilled that, okay? So apparently we're not tracking, like you're the one claiming I'm not, right? So I just said because you're
Yeah,
the one.
so the retard is
Obviously,
really in the state of intellectual
you're not
malnourishment to the
right.
point he does not even understand what the question. He does not even understand the very basic burden that's been placed onto him in this conversation. So I'm asking you, why is it the case that given the events that just happened thus far, it would be the case that I would have the burden to prove that God exists?
So I just said because you took the position. That's like number one what I just said, bro.
So by your own logic, you have the burden to prove that God does not exist because you took the position that God does not exist, correct?
That's basically just burden shit. Like,
I can just say this burden shifting for you to say that because you have the position of God exists, then I would have the burden to prove that God exists. That would be something which is sufficient for burden shifting. Right? I'm using your own
so
logic against you, by the way.
what'd you say? Sorry. All right, let me louder you.
I'm saying I'm using your own logic against you. So if you want to concede that you don't have an argument for the proposition and you're going to be taking an agnostic atheistic position, that's fine. But originally, so you're going to be defending the proposition.
Yeah. So real quick, let me just try and like what you're saying because I fucking had you like on low for some reason. I don't know what's going on there, but basically what you were saying is that I'm somehow burden shifting. Was that like one of your
I'm saying,
claims or
given
no?
your own logic, it would be the case that you're burden shifting because you believe that just having the position automatically entails that the person is the one who has the current burden. But you
Yeah.
also
Okay.
have a
So
position.
that would be unilateral towards the claim in itself, which would be, or just of course using the meta language to engage on that specific proposition in itself.
We're not
Um,
talking about meta language
no,
here. What are you
no,
talking about, dude?
I'm saying in terms of bilateral stuff towards the specific debate in the context, not just
What
the
do you mean by
stance.
what do you mean? Do you mean by unilateral and bilateral in this context?
Yeah. So of course I said that unilateral, like unilateral by definition, just analytics is just basically something or just basically something that falls onto one party. Then bilateral would be something towards a more so like a collect. So like I don't know if I'm getting them the terms mixed up, but I'm pretty sure they did.
So
Even if I am,
unilateral means something which
wait,
follows on one party, and the other one means follows on both party, right?
hold on. So I wasn't done with the point I
That
was
was your
trying to make.
definition originally.
Hold on. I said even if I am getting the terms mixed up, I'm pretty sure both definitions would realign with the opposite in question. So
Yeah, because I'm just curious as to how that would be applicable towards this context of the conversation. So
what'd you say? Or you said how is that
I was
relevant?
just curious about how to be applicable towards this conversational context. So the first definition, which is for unilateral, is to follow one party. It follows from one party, right?
Yeah, unilateral would fall onto one party. Bilateral just
Okay,
goes on.
gotcha. So how is this even relevant to the fact that you do in fact have the probative burden to demonstrate that God does not exist? You low to your white belt.
Yeah, okay. So basically, I was just pointing towards this in the context of the two debaters discussing within the debate in the proposition. And yes, before you do call out stutter,
Yeah,
yes,
there's just another white belt response from the low tier, right? So I'm asking
you're
you, in
fine.
the case where you made the claim that God does not exist, presumably you have like an argument, right?
Yeah. So again, if you're gonna move on
Okay,
to another,
wait, yes or no? Do you have an argument?
like if we're gonna move on to the argumentation point, then I
Wait,
guess we
let's
could
have a
just
linear conversation. Can you answer my question? Let's have a linear
yeah.
conversation.
Hold on.
Don't dodge.
I'm trying to point out the fact that you're trying to like
That's a dodge.
you're just
That's
trying
a
to shift
dodge, right? So
Bro,
yes or
instead
no? Do you have an
oh my
instead
argument?
god.
of you claiming I'm dodging, right?
That's a dodge. Yes or
How
no? Do you have an argument?
you're trying to move out to the argumentation point, which
Yes
is
or
your
no? Do you have a dodge? Do you have an argument? You're dodging right now. You're
just
just
ask me
debating.
if
You're
I have
just,
a
doing the weird
Bro,
thing.
nigga.
We're
Just
just,
ask me if
Apollo,
okay,
I have
just
a
give
do
an
you have an argument?
argument, bro. What
this
are you
nigga just
doing?
ask me if I have a dodge.
Relax, guys.
The
Just
fuck?
calm
Why not
down.
tell
Who's
him to give an argument? Ask him for an argument first, retard.
Bro, because he'd have to prove by contradiction, and so he'd have to prove that God
No, he
exists
doesn't.
first.
Or that's retarded. You
No,
think
you
for you to
don't
prove that
prove the
God does not exist,
non-existence
you're
of something.
autistic? Why are you autistic?
You don't
You
prove
think
the
for the proof that God
non-existence
does
of
not exist,
something
we could do a
without proving that the
proposition?
proposition is false. That's the
Wax,
whole
retard.
point.
Do you not believe we can prove that God does not exist without using proof by contradiction?
Yeah, you don't prove the
Can you give
non-existence of
probabilistic
something
arguments?
without
No.
proving the
Yes or
proposition
no?
is
Can you give
false,
probabilistic
which means that
arguments
you
why
have
God
to,
does not exist? Answer the
bruh.
question.
Oh,
Can you give probabilistic arguments why God does not exist? Yes or no?
wait. What's your? Who are you debating? What's
You're
his
not even
name?
tracking. You're so fucking stupid, dude. Can you give a
Yo,
probabilistic
damn.
argument why God does not exist?
Which
Yes or
one are
no?
you debating?
Wax, answer the question.
Yo, damn. Just wait till he gives an argument. You're good,
Which
bro.
one? Answer the question. Retard. Can you give probabilistic arguments
Yo,
why
wait,
God
did
does
this
not
nigga
exist?
just
Answer
start
the
on him?
question. Answer the
Wait, did he
question.
just start on me?
He's
Did
just
Wax
done.
get started?
Yeah, of course. I
Nigga,
started
what
reading
did
to them. What are
Wax
you gonna do? Are
do?
you gonna cry about it?
What did
Of
Wax
course I did.
do?
Of course I did.
What
That's
did
your
that
reason
nigga
because
Wax
it's
do?
dodging the question. Give an argument.
Bruh,
You
Yeah,
said
no, no.
specifically that apparently for him to prove that God does
bruh,
not exist, it has to be a
bro.
case-based
You're
example.
not debating me right now, Apollo.
Are you willing
Focus
to
on
concede the
damn, bro.
proposition that you made a false blunder, moron, noter?
You're focusing on damn, buddy. It's all
Yes or
right.
no? Answer the question. You jumped into the conversation and now you're getting blown the fuck out. So I'm asking you,
Just,
do you believe it is necessary for someone to prove that God
bruh.
does not exist
You know
by
what you need to
contradiction?
do. You're the one, bro.
You're
You're the one
stumbling right
that's
now. You're not even
responsible.
confident in your own blunders. It's crazy. Answer the question. Answer the question. Yes or no? Which one is
You
it?
are responsible for proving God
Chill
exists.
out.
Yes or
That's
no?
what you
Which one is
gotta
it?
do.
Chill out.
Yes or no? Which one is it?
Chill
Answer the
out.
question. Answer the question or shut up. Don't butt into a conversation that is